Hello, my name is Takai Johnson, and I'm doing This Is My Persuasive Speech. I want to start off by saying to my professor that I just recently had got my wisdom teeth removed. So, if you, hear like a little bit of lisp, anything, that's because I just got my wisdom. Sorry, I just recently had got my wisdom teeth removed. Sorry, so that's why you may hear, that sound or whatever, the little lisp. But yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my introduction yeah. So hello, my name is Takai Johnson, and this is my persuasive speech. So my speech is about how animals shouldn't be animals should not be taken out of their homes and their habitats for the profit of human gratification, entertainment, so on and so forth. So what I'm saying is we should not take animals from their homes, put them in captivity to be viewed in zoos, to be put on TV shows, and just to be treated as something that is less than. So, started by saying, as humans, we all try to find a way to profit off of the backs and the labor of others. And animals shouldn't be taken out of their homes and shelters for the profit, entertainment, gratification, and or gain of humans. Animals should be taken out of their homes in the first place without good, justifiable reasons. Now, some of you may be wondering, what are some good, justifiable reasons to take an animal out of their habitat? Maybe, let's say, the animal is in risk for extinction, or the species is in risk of extinction. That would be a good, justifiable reason to take these animals out of their habitats to preserve their species. And here is some pictures of people using good, justifiable reasons to take animals out of their habitats. Another one is, say for instance, an animal is hurt and cannot fend for themselves in the wild. They need to be rehabilitated and taken to these centers so they can heal, so they can eventually have enough energy, strength, power, drive, whatever, to get back out in the real world and fend for themselves. Those are just some of the few justifiable reasons that I have gathered. There may be more, but that's just a good justifiable reason where animals could be taken out of their habitat instead of being taken out for income and gain and this, that, and third. Now, we humans in general tend to beat animals in circuses, especially for their gain. And circuses are some of the worst places for these animals. As we can see, these are some pictures that are highlighting the horrors that animals go through in circuses and other forms of entertainment for humans. So humans people, I would say, will beat these animals into submission from taking them out of their habitat so they can follow the orders and protocols, because what we want animals to do in circuses and things is not their natural instinct. The natural instinct is not to jump through a hoop of fire or to do a handstand or to paint on a canvas. That's just not what they are meant to do. And there are many, many inhumane practices that happen in these circuses, such as some tigers are declawed so they won't hurt the person, the ringmaster, whoever, who is doing the performer, doing the act. And this within itself is very painful for these tigers, because just imagine if someone was to take something off of you, take a body part, take something that these tigers use in the wild to live. And when humans do this, it's inhumane, and it causes not only mental but physical stress and trauma upon these animals. Another inhumane practice is done with elephants. And elephants just like tigers, have been an animal in circuses for decades. And it is It's this practice called Pajan, and it dates all the way back to ancient ancient Asia, ancient Asian culture. And it's basically the practice of breaking down the spirits of these elephants so they can abide by the rules of humans. Now, what I mean by this is these elephants and these animals, these elephants are being abused to a certain point where they don't feel as though that they can retaliate against humans. And this practice breaks their spirits mentally and physically to where they abide by anything humans say, do, tell them to do. And this is how these elephants can perform these tricks and things of that nature. You can see this elephant is being abused. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this elephant is being abused and his limbs are being tied up for the purpose and gain of circuses and things like that. And I just want to highlight a specific thing. Even when we see humans riding elephants, that's still a very painful practice because elephants' bodies aren't meant to hold people. And you may be wondering, well, why, if they're so big, they're thousands of pounds, this, that, and the third? Well, because the skeletal structure of an elephant doesn't have that hump in the back. Therefore, it's kind of like, say for instance, you're holding a person on your neck for a long time. They're not heavy at first, but after a while, they get heavy and you want to put them down. That's the same thing with elephants. Or in contrast to horses, where horses do have that hump in their back to where they're meant to be ridden for long periods of time. These elephants are not. These elephants are meant to be showcased in this way, and it's very painful for them, not only mentally, but physically as well. There's even in times where zoos have also abused these animals and taken advantage of these animals. And this is just some pictures of zoos and stuff. Now, some zoos do hold animals captive to help and to rehabilitate their species, but there's still times where these animals are being held captive because zoos simply still want to bring in that money and revenue from people to attract audiences so they can see all these wild exotic animals. And it's not always a guarantee that these animals are treated the way they're supposed to. And when we hold these animals captive, they're not getting the nutrients that they need. They're not getting the exercise, anything that they need that they would normally get in the wild. And many times when these animals go through this, they retaliate. And then, of course, people end up killing these animals for retaliating, but they're going through so much mental trauma. For example, this monkey, this chimpanzee was a animal actor, I could say. He appeared in many television, TV shows. He made many cameos, and he appeared in Coca-Cola commercials. It was Travis the chimpanzee. Many of you may know about him. And basically, one day, he attacked the owner's best friend, Charlotte Nash. He mangled her, he mauled her, he even lacerated her face. And she didn't deserve this, so of course the chimpanzee was shot on sight when the police got there, I believe. And this could have all been avoided if he was never treated as a human and forced to do things that he mentally could not do. And it was just a ticking time bomb. Because animals have instincts. We are all born with instincts. And the animal's instinct is not to entertain humans. It's to fend for themselves in the wild and to hunt and gather food and this, that, and the third. And when you do these things to these animals, they retaliate and then they end up being killed for something that could have been easily avoided by us. These animals deserve to thrive in their own ecosystems and not to be displayed for humans' entertainment, profit, and gain. Animals thrive so much better being in their homes where they belong instead of being here for our gain, because we don't need that. Well, they don't need that, sorry. Animals should be free. So in conclusion, every action has a reaction. When you take an animal unjustly and use them for unjust gain, those actions just may have consequences, and those consequences aren't always what we think they are, but things can be avoided if we would think in a more inhumane way instead of thinking about how we can gain money and profit off of these animals. So yes, animals should be free, and thank you for listening to my persuasive speech. You have a nice, wonderful day. or night or day.